I've got it all back set up. The original battery is now sitting here with the meter. Right? This is a secondary battery. Right? Like I said, I've gone from 8 positive to 9 negative. Right? Remember where we were at before with voltage? Now we should be able to come over to this positive and see that we have 28 volts. Okay, we're over here, we had 24 or 25.73. We now have 28. We'll go over to negative and come out this positive, jump her back around over here. Alright, so easiest way to do this is I leave this one connected. I come over here, got all those tinned. Okay, it's a little quieter right now because they turned off the fan. I'm going to show you why I run the fan. Because actually, if you see all this smoke coming up, it's really not good for you. And it kind of wafts around. And, well, by turning the fan on, what we do is we send it on its little way. That's my safety tip. Also, the wire that I'm using here is a very small gauge, so in case of a short, right, which now that this battery is getting up there would be kind of catastrophic, this wire will literally just burn off. It's about a 24 gauge wire, very small, about the size of what they use for phone cord. And the reason I'm using it is just that reason, it's safety. Right? It just allows me to continue checking the voltages, making sure that that we're doing this correctly. Not that I have any doubt. When you start to build batteries that hit 200 and 300 volts, like I said, the one I did that was 5,000 with 4,800 cells, right, was, let's see, it was 144 volts, basically. Just to replace 144 volt lead acid battery for an electric car, and it gave him, he was using a whole bunch of deep cell batteries. It gave him a whole lot more. You just put it that way. Like I said, this will be 20, this will replace a 7 amp 48 volt battery. Right? This will be 21 amps. People say, oh, that's 3 times as big. Not in real life. In real life, you're dealing with a lead acid thing where, when the battery's brand new, you might get 5 amps out of it before the battery's so low. Running it any lower than that will damage the battery and greatly shorten its life. On a good day, when it's a couple of months, 3 months old, you're probably, most of its life, you're going to get about 3.5, about half the rated amperage. I've soldered up this side, all the cross junctions. Right, like I said, we'll take a quick voltage reading. Yeah, we got to fire this back up and work called so. Right, so we're 28.8. I'm coming out of 9. We'll turn this over, right, and that should take us to 3220. Right, so we're going to go this way to here. We now have the battery completely done. We've already tested that first side. Now, like I said, we can put this up on a 10. Right, we can start here, and we can show you. Right, can you see that? Yeah, 25. Right, going to 32 because we're jumping one side to the other. See, so we're going double cells. Just checking one side. You can see 28, 32. 35, 38. One, 45, 48, and this one will be 51.5. Right? So we completed that phase of building the battery. Right? We now have a 48 volt battery capable of 21 amps. Right? The issue is this little jumper wire that I put in here is not going to be strong enough to carry that kind of amperage. So we'll take it off. Right? And we can get rid of this test lead. Right? And we can get rid of the meter. Done with that for now. Right? And we got to put 8 and 9 together. Okay, we're now down to, we're going to, before we connect the two batteries together permanently, we're going to put in the BMS control system. BMS is nothing more than a battery management system. This one is a 16S, which means we have 16 in series. What it do is it compares the absolute 0 volt, our number 1 negative, right, to each of the positive cells, right, reading the different voltages just like we did when we checked it. The battery management system will prevent an overcurrent from the batteries. This is a 21 amp hour battery, right? This is capable of allowing 60 amps to leave. Got the meter set up here, and what we're going to do, now that we have the first bank done, we're going to verify that we didn't cross any wires, because if you don't have it right, the BMS will explode, which would be a bad thing. Right? So I got 3.2. Next one over is 6.4. Next one over is 9.6. Next one over, 12.8. 12.8, and it goes to 16. 19. 22. And that's it. And now we'll solder the other half in there. First we're gonna sit and cover this with Kapton. Again, back to the Kapton, like we did with the other solar battery. Like I said, Kapton is the greatest stuff in the world. This is Kapton. Very expensive, but very good plastic. Withstands tremendous heat, about 800 degrees before it'll, start to melt or burn. That's what we want. This battery will never get to that temperature, but it also acts as a word I'm looking for, as a shield, right? So that it doesn't, rub against everything. Okay, now that we've verified all of these are correct, we're going to tape down the leads. This is a Kapton masking tape, they call it. We're just going to kind of wrap a little over the top here of all of these cells. And where to put my little knife? Just like that. We're going to kind of bundle all these wires together in a nice, sort of neat fashion. And then we'll put another sheet of thicker Kapton over the top, and then we'll tape the whole thing up. And it'll make it for a nice, clean installation. And we don't have to worry about any of these nasties, little things that can happen. This is actually a knockoff of Kapton tape, but it's something we have to take care of. Ooh, we got a little point right here. It felt it. We'll just touch it up with the soldering iron here, just to kind of smooth it out so we don't have a sharp point. Missed that one. And we have to peel this one back enough we can solder it together. There. And then, like I said, then we'll cover it with a sheet of thicker Kapton on both sides, and then we'll sandwich a piece of this red airboard in between. And that'll give it a lot of protection from the elements. We want to make sure all the leads are coming out the same direction. Somebody asked me once, you know, don't you wear gloves when you're doing that? I say no. I got really strong fingers, I guess. No, I just don't cut myself. Blade is very sharp, and I would recommend that if you're going to do this or attempt this, that you need to invest in some really good gloves. Okay, now we're going to connect these two banks together, same way we did the other one. We need the big solder for these. I could use a little solder, I guess. It just burns up so fast. Well, we're going to tin this up real good. Do the same thing we did on the other one. Bend this tab over, making a little barrel loop. We've already tinned the 6-gauge wire. Like I said, I use a silicone coated 6-gauge wire. It's very flexible. It's not short out anything. And a little more solder. My little tool here. Push this together. First we make the loop. Okay, I guess we lost the battery, so we've done the BMS. I double checked all the voltages again going across. I do that twice just to make sure I haven't made a mistake. Right? And now we're getting ready to attach the black ground wire, or the BMS wire, to the battery to make sure that everything's hunky-dory. Right? I've taken some of this very small electronics solder, wrapped it around the wire, kind of tin it. We'll put a little flux on the inside here. We get really good adhesion. Right? Fold this over really well. Kind of form it in place the best we can. Make our eyelet. Right. We gotta use big soldering iron. So we want to do this fast. And big solder. Then what I'll do is kind of push this down, make sure that it's good and solid. We'll hit it here, wait for it to heat. And we'll check it, make sure that it's secured. Now the BMS will actually sit up on top of here, like so, with our negative lead coming out. We'll add another piece of wire. I use 6 gauge, like I said, 6 gauge wire on all of this to ensure